All right, welcome everyone. Give everyone a couple seconds here to join, get settled in before we jump into content. All right. Thank you for being here. Thank you for taking some time out of your day to learn a little bit more about Reading Horizons. This webinar is going to be focused on kind of getting to know Reading Horizons. And this is a DESE approved solution for Arkansas classrooms for kindergarten through second grade. So in this session, I'm going to kind of guide you through an overview of the Reading Horizons mission, unique method, and solutions. So let's go ahead and get started. My name is Shannon Bowles. I am an educator and partnership consultant with Reading Horizons. And if you are working with our friends in Arkansas, part of our Arkansas team is also Sarah Stitt. She's a partnership consultant as well. And Sean Webb, who is the account executive for Arkansas. So if you're reaching out to us, those are the people that you're going to probably see responding. Reading Horizons is already making impact across Arkansas in 8 districts, 44 schools, and with 27,692 students. So why have these Arkansas educators partnered with Reading Horizons? Reading Horizons has 40 years of experience effectively implementing the science of reading. We are Orton Gillingham aligned and really effective at what we do with making it accessible to teachers and students. And we're used in all 50 states and 35 countries and in some of the largest school districts nationwide. As we jump into our conversation today, for the sake of simplicity, I want to ground us in the well-known framework of Scarborough's reading rope. This model breaks down the skills that are needed for students to become skilled readers. The lower strands include word recognition skills like phonological awareness and decoding and encoding. And the upper strands are the language comprehension skills that are needed, such as vocabulary knowledge, language structure, and verbal reasoning. And these skills are built over time and weave together. As word recognition skills become increasingly automatic, language comprehension skills can become increasingly strategic. It's kind of like learning how to drive a car. I have teenagers, and as I sat in the passenger seat with my oldest a few years ago, I watched him death grip 10 and 2, concentrating so hard on how hard to push the gas pedal to move us forward without jerking, or when to move to the brake and how hard to push that, and when to let go of the steering wheel to use the turn signal. He was so focused on the foundational skills of operating the vehicle that he had no brain energy available for conversation or listening to music or navigating to new places. Now, you and I, we don't think about any of those foundational driving skills because those things are automatic for us. We have the brain energy available to navigate to new places and listen to our podcasts or have conversations while we drive. And the same concept applies to our students learning to read. If they have to think their way through every letter and sound of text as they decode, then they don't have the cognitive bandwidth to attend to language comprehension skills. So we need to help them build automaticity in those foundational word recognition skills, and we need to do it early in kindergarten through second grade. Now, Reading Horizons is a structured literacy curriculum, meaning that all skills are taught explicitly, systematically, and sequentially, building from the most simple concepts to the more complex. All skills are taught using a multimodal framework for student engagement and connection. Reading Horizons also uses a unique marking system that provides a visual scaffold for students to help them recognize the patterns in the English language. These patterns are what determine the pronunciation and meaning of words. It's kind of like the FedEx logo. There's an arrow between the E and the X in this logo. If you've never seen it, there you go. And once you've noticed this arrow, you can't unsee it. The truck drives by and your brain hones in on the arrow. This is kind of like how the Reading Horizons marking system works. Once our students see the language patterns visually, their brains start to recognize these patterns in text. So as we pull back the scaffold of the marking system at the end of every lesson, students' brains are automatically seeking those patterns. Reading Horizons Discovery is our approved solution for K-2 foundational literacy in Arkansas. And this is the program that I'm going to share with you today. Here you can see an overview of the core skills that are taught in the Reading Horizons Discovery program, and I'll walk you through them briefly today to highlight the unique way that we teach these skills. We begin with letter instruction and teaching the alphabetic principle. All four elements of each letter are explicitly taught: the name, the most common sound, uppercase and lowercase formation. From there, we can start building to words. The process starts with mapping the phoneme to the grapheme, followed by blending using a slide or a body coda approach to blending. This allows for more accurate pronunciation and efficient blending. It then progresses to building words by adding an ending consonant and identifying the vowel, since every word and every syllable must have a vowel. And then it ends with constructing sentences. We need students to be able to apply their skills to both reading and writing. And all of this reinforces the left to right directionality of print. Once students have a solid foundation in letter sound correspondence, CVC words, and letter combinations like blends and digraphs, then we introduce long vowel sounds and move from just marking key features like a vowel underneath the word to proving why the vowel is short or long within a word. And this process provides students with the why behind how words are spelled and pronounced. Students are learning how to decode a word, not just repeating a rote rule, really acquiring skills. The process of proving words applies a visual and spatial process that proves why vowels are short or long. And when we prove the word, we introduce a road or a racetrack that starts at the bottom left of the word and moves left to right below the word, and then across, moving up across to the top of the word and the other direction. And this whole process benefits supporting students' executive function and reducing the demand on working memory. We use a framework called the 5 phonetic skills to teach students syllable types using this process of proving. So let's start by looking at phonetic skill 1. We're going to apply that visual spatial process left to right underneath the word, identifying the vowel E. Then moving up and around the end of the word and looking at what follows the vowel, because what follows vowels is what determines their pronunciation in English. So what's following the vowel here? One consonant. We term this a guardian consonant to connect to its job. A guardian protects or watches over. This guardian consonant protects the vowel, helping it keep its short sound. The word is met. So this is phonetic skill 1. When one guardian consonant follows the vowel will be short. It's a closed syllable. Phonetic skill 2 is really similar to phonetic skill 1. So left to right, same process, identifying the vowel U, and then coming up and around the end of the word to look at what follows the vowel. Here we have 2 guardian consonants protecting that vowel, helping it keep its short sound. The word is jump. So phonetic skill 2, when 2 guardian consonants follow the vowel, proves the vowel short. This is still a closed syllable, but now with 2 consonants. Now, phonetic skill 3 is the first skill to prove the vowel sound long. So left to right, we identified the vowel E, and then coming up and around the end of the word, we're looking at what follows the vowel. What's following the vowel here? Nothing. And there's no previous vowels. So we say the vowel stands alone. When the vowel stands alone, it will be long. The word is me. That's phonetic skill 3. The vowel is long because it stands alone. This is our open syllable. These first 3 phonetic skills are our most common syllable types. So once students have mastered these 3 phonetic skills, they can already unlock about 75% of text that we put in front of them. Now, phonetic skill 4 is another pattern to prove the vowel sound long. Left to right, same process, identify the vowel I and the vowel E. This is the first time we have 2 vowels. Coming up and around the end of this word, we see E at the end with a previous vowel. When we have E at the end with a previous vowel, that E is going to be silent. So we're going to draw a line through that E and through the X beneath it to show that this is no longer a working vowel, right? This is not going to be a syllable. There's only one syllable in this word. And silent E at the end of the word proves the previous vowel to be long. The word is bike. So phonetic skill 4, where the first vowel is long because the word ends in silent E. And phonetic skill 5 has to do with adjacent vowel teams. So in this word, left to right, we identify the vowel O and the vowel A. We notice they're right next to each other or adjacent. So coming up and around the end of this word, the second vowel will be silent and the first vowel will be long. So phonetic skill 5, when we have two specific vowels that are adjacent, the second vowel is silent and the first vowel is long. This applies to 9 specific adjacent vowel teams that are explicitly taught, and then additional patterns for adjacent vowels and pronunciations are taught later on. We always want to teach that best bet first to mastery before introducing less common patterns or exceptions. So we've empowered students with these 5 phonetic skills. They can automatically decode single syllable words and understand why the vowel is short or long within a word. The vowel stands alone, it will be long. Phonetic skill 3. One guardian consonant protects the vowel, proving it short. Phonetic skill 1. Silent E proves the previous vowel long. Phonetic skill 4. Okay, now we get into multisyllabic words. So what do we do with a word like this that has 2 vowels? Neither of them are silent. We have 2 syllables. So let's teach students how to handle it when they have these longer words. We're going to teach 2 simple decoding skills that help students to know where to divide any word of any length. We start by applying the same process left to right, identifying key features like the vowel O and the vowel E. We get to the end of this word and we see that we have more than 1 syllable. So we're going to back up and look at what is between our 2 vowels. In this word, we have the consonant T between our 2 vowels. Decoding skill 1 tells us that when there's 1 consonant or consonant unit between our vowels, it will move with the next syllable, or 1 must run. So we divide in front of that consonant T and then apply the 5 phonetic skills to prove the vowel sound in each syllable. Coming up and around the end of this syllable, the vowel stands alone, it will be long. Phonetic skill 3. The second syllable, 1 guardian consonant, proves the vowel short. Phonetic skill 1. The word is motel. So decoding skill 1, 1 must run. When we look between the vowels, if there's 1 consonant or consonant blend, right? Consonant unit, then it will run and move with the next syllable. Decoding skill 2, same process, left to right, identifying the vowel A and the vowel U. We know we have more than 1 syllable, so we're looking between our vowels. And in this word, between our vowels, we have 2 consonants. They're not blends or digraphs that stay together. And so decoding skill 2 tells us 2 will split. We're going to divide between those 2 consonants and apply the 5 phonetic skills to prove the vowel sound in each syllable. These syllables both follow the same pattern. Phonetic skill 1. 1 guardian consonant proves the vowel short. The word is campus. Okay, so decoding skills 1 and 2 are really simple for students to connect with. Decoding skill 1, 1 must run. Decoding skill 2, 2 will split. The goal of all of this is to help students become independent readers who can look at any word of any length and apply the skills that they own to identify key features in the word, break it apart into syllables, and prove the vowel sounds in each syllable. They're empowered with these proven strategies that increase their confidence because they have these skills that work. And students see the results, and so do their teachers and administrators. Now, what does this actually look like in the classroom? The Reading Horizons Discovery product suite works together to empower teachers to provide streamlined, effective foundational literacy instruction while supporting every student to become a proficient reader. There are 3 components within the Discovery product suite. Discovery Live is the digital teacher component. Discovery World is the digital student experience, and Discovery Companion is the physical materials for both teachers and students. So we're going to look at each component here. To kick off our dive into the Reading Horizons Discovery Live teacher experience, we're going to watch a short video that kind of gives you a look at how teachers will engage with Discovery Live. Take a look.
Let's set the scene. You've got 10 minutes before your students return from recess for your literacy block. No problem. Simply log in and pick up where you left off yesterday. On your welcome screen, review a short lesson summary and a few materials to gather. If you can't quite remember what you learned in your professional learning over the summer, just watch a short on-demand training to refresh your memory. As your students file back into the classroom, tap the broadcast icon to display student visuals on your smartboard or TV and cue up the script, a support for you as you teach, to remind you of critical teaching points as you go. As students participate in the lesson, discreetly mark them as red, yellow, or green, representing your on-the-spot assessment of their pronunciation, decoding skills, and attention. When you're done, instruct students to take a skill checkup, a fun, corresponding game-like activity that was automatically assigned to them when you started the lesson. Then after they've taken the skill checkup, split them into already sorted groups based on your in-lesson tracking. Observe students as they complete engaging activities that reinforce your lesson and further check their understanding. Follow along in your insights view to see where every student or the class as a whole stands in real time. At a glance, you'll know what percentage of students are at or above skill level, who needs intervention, and which strategies are your next best step. We hear it all the time.
It feels like magic.
In reality, it's nearly 40 years of proven science baked into a next-generation, intuitive, tech-enabled tool designed around what teachers told us they wanted. Reading Horizons, where reading momentum begins.
Okay. So Reading Horizons Discovery Live is a key component of the Discovery product suite, and it offers an innovative platform designed to streamline foundational reading instruction for teachers and data collection and analysis for administrators while enhancing student success. This comprehensive application provides interactive scripted lesson plans, real-time student assessments, and data-driven differentiated instruction plans, ensuring that every student receives personalized support and opportunities for growth within their literacy journey. Reading Horizons Discovery Live guides teachers through the instructional cycle from lesson preparation to lesson delivery to skill assessment to differentiated instruction and practice, and finally to a data-driven decision about whether to move on or to reteach the lesson. This cycle connects the curriculum, the software, and the teacher to provide a truly blended learning experience. Let's walk through each step in the instructional cycle together. When a teacher selects a lesson for the day, they'll enter the lesson prep step of the instructional cycle. Here, they'll see the lesson summary page that provides a quick overview of the lesson and a lesson embedded support video. The videos provide adult level explanations and examples of the skill taught in the lesson, along with teacher guidance. They will also call out common student misconceptions or common student mistakes to be aware of. And this helps every teacher, regardless of their experience, become an expert at teaching reading. From the lesson summary page, teachers can select lesson preview to prepare their lesson. In lesson preview, the teacher can see the full scripted lesson along with tips for multilingual learners and other special populations, as well as some additional teacher tips in there. And they also have access to the notes section. This is where teachers can make notes of things they want to remember during the lesson delivery. Kind of think of it like your digital Post-its in your manual. After lesson preparation, teachers move to primary lesson delivery by clicking Deliver Lesson. Once the teacher begins instruction, they'll see the scripted lesson on their device, just like in the printed manual, but with added benefits, such as their student list to track observational data and a projection feature for student-facing visual prompts. With the touch of a button, teachers can project posters, phoneme cards, words for instruction and practice, letter formation videos, sentences and text for choral reading, and more. The projection feature creates an opportunity for teachers to not be tethered to the whiteboard, but to move around the room, allowing closer proximity to students to increase engagement and provide immediate corrective feedback. All foundational literacy skills are covered and embedded within this primary lesson, including phonemic awareness activities, sound spelling while instruction, letter formation, explicit phonics instruction, focusing on decoding and encoding, and fluency practice with choral and repeated reading of skills and contexts. So students move from phonemic awareness to decodable passages within the same streamlined lesson. Our intentional lesson design has 4 parts and uses the framework of the gradual release of responsibility. So we're going to look at each part of the lesson. Part 1 is a phonemic awareness warm-up. This entails 2 oral phonemic awareness tasks. Phonemic awareness, or the ability to recognize and manipulate individual sounds or phonemes in spoken words, is a foundational skill for both reading and spelling. In addition, the National Reading Panel identified the positive impact of pairing phonemic awareness tasks with the introduction of graphemes, which happens in part 2 of the lesson. In part two, this is the phonics and spelling bulk of the lesson here, and this includes a review, new instruction connecting the sound to the spelling using a sound spelling wall, and explicitly teaches and models the new phonics skill for the day. There's explicit instruction of one most common word in each lesson. Following that explicit instruction, guided practice with dictation allows students to start applying the skill to both decoding and encoding from sound to sentence. Dictation is a part of that guided practice portion of the gradual release of responsibility, or the we do part. And dictation employs all the sensory inputs and motor outputs involved in language processing. The teacher dictates words following the skills explicitly taught in the lesson as the students listen. Then the students repeat back, write, and mark or prove, and then read the words. This process activates and connects all areas of the brain involved in accurate and fluent reading. This is also a great time to record your observational data directly within Discovery Live. Now, part three of the lesson is whole class transfer. This involves choral reading of a whole class transfer card, which includes skill words, review words, most common words, and decodable sentences, followed by repeated reading of a decodable passage. Whole class transfer is imperative because it ensures that students are not simply learning skills in isolation, but transferring them to connected text as quickly as possible, with additional differentiated opportunities for practice and application in part four of the lesson. So just real quick, we've talked through these first three parts. Now you'll notice a little red arrow here that says skill check between parts 3 and 4. This is where students take a short skill check assessment. So at this point, after primary lesson delivery parts 1 through 3 is complete, students take a 5-question skill check in the software, the student software, based on the content just taught in the lesson. The skill check empowers the teacher to check for student understanding of each day's skill and to help inform small groups and centers for differentiated learning during that extended transfer part of the lesson, part 4. Once a student has completed their skill checks, teachers can see that student data in real time on the lesson insights page. This page allows teachers to see both observational and skill check data at a glance. Teachers can use these data points to determine small groups and centers for that differentiated reading practice. After completing the skill check, students move to groups and centers for that differentiated practice. We recommend skill-based groups and centers so that those groups remain flexible and can change often based on teacher observation and skill check data. Centers provide students with opportunities to practice and apply the decoding skills they're learning, moving them from accuracy to automaticity of each skill. Differentiated practice can be done right after the lesson instruction, later in the day, or even the next day if needed. Groups and centers are accessed from the lesson's insights page. So skill check data and teacher observations help teachers categorize students into 3 groups: needs support, needs practice, and needs enrichment. Groups and centers routines are aligned with print materials like a consumable student transfer book and decodable books, and we'll look at those more closely in a moment. Upon completion of differentiated practice, the teacher will make a data-driven decision for the next day. The teacher can determine if the class is ready to move on to the next lesson, identify students who need further instruction on the same skill in a teacher-led small group during intervention, or if the entire class needs another day of instruction and practice. All the data for this skill will appear on the final student observation page, guiding teachers' next actionable steps. Teachers will also have an opportunity to make notes about individual students and adjust observational data if needed. Now, in the event you have a student who is absent or misses the skill instruction, or they need a quick refresher, you can access the condensed reteach lessons, which provide a shorter focused lesson with transfer activities. And after a reteach lesson, instructors have the ability to reassign the lesson's skill check to gather data and monitor student progress. This is also a great resource for your paraprofessionals to utilize with students. There are easily accessible data reports within Reading Horizons Discovery Live. These reports enable teachers to accurately track skill mastery and intervention needs and offer a clear view of individual and class-wide performance. This feature helps teachers pinpoint exactly where each student needs support, allowing them to provide more effective targeted instruction. There are also various skill toolkits that can be used at the decision point in the instructional cycle or on the review and transfer days to provide differentiated instruction and support based on student needs. These resources can also be used during intervention, tier 2 and 3 instructional time, or for enrichment. Some toolkits and supplemental resources include resource pages that can be used in the classroom and for at-home transfer. Some examples of these activities include fluency pyramids, roll and reads, letter formation practice pages. These are all great to send home with students as well. Now, shifting our focus a little bit, we're going to look at Reading Horizons Discovery World. This is another key component of the Discovery product suite that features innovative student software programming designed to support the development of key foundational literacy skills for kindergarten through second grade students. And this engaging platform transforms literacy principle practice into an adventure where students embark on a journey through a series of themed lands, each filled with interactive activities, captivating narratives, and personalized challenges. Tailored to address the needs of every learner, Discovery World ensures that all students from striving to excelling remain motivated, engaged, and excited about their literacy journey. Within Discovery World, daily student software includes quick formative checks for understanding of that day's skill and multi-skill checks as a mastery measure to determine student progress and retention of skills over time. So let's talk about the skill check first. Remember that within the lesson structure, the skill check happens after whole class transfer. This is where students are going to take that 5-question assessment that gives the teacher data to inform extended transfer. This is what a skill check looks like.
Which letters spell the sound ch, ch? Which letters spell the slide cha, cha? Which word begins with the sound ch? Which word begins with the sound ch? Click on the word that spells chip. Wait until your teacher tells you it's okay to move on.
Okay, so after students complete that skill check, it not only helps the teacher to form groups and centers, but it also determines the number and complexity of the skill activities that the students are required to complete in the software. There are different activities that students will complete. They progress in complexity as they move through those. Activity 1 is a multiple choice activity. Activity 2 is a marking and decoding practice. And activity 3 is a spelling activity using letter tiles. A post skill check is administered after the student completes the differentiated software activities. Students can take that post skill check immediately following their software activities or after they've completed all the groups and centers for that skill. The post skill check data shows if student skill proficiency has increased after differentiated practice and teacher support. So this is what the student software path looks like. They'll take that initial skill check, they'll complete whichever activities are required for them, and then they'll complete that post skill check. In addition to skill checks, multi-skill checks are another assessment that's given within Reading Horizons Discovery World. These are administered on review and transfer days in the scope and sequence, and they assess skills in groups, skill groups, and act as a mastery measure to determine progress and retention of skills over time. So for example, each multi-skill check assesses 3 skill groups: the skill group that you just taught, as well as the one prior and 2 prior. Okay, so on this skill check, or excuse me, on this multi-skill check, it's going to be assessing these 3 groups of skills. And as that rotates down, each skill group is assessed 3 times, and we can determine students' proficiency. This data is available in Discovery Live. The teacher can access this detailed multi-skill check report, and this allows them to see exactly what kind of errors students are making and to differentiate instruction accordingly. Okay, the last component of the Reading Horizons Discovery Suite, Reading Horizons Discovery Companion, is a comprehensive collection of grade-specific reference and support materials for teachers and students. This compilation includes all the materials your teachers will need to facilitate the lessons and what students will need to ensure that they achieve reading success. These are the physical teacher materials. Classroom sound wall posters for Constant Corner and Val Valley. These provide an anchor for students as they develop phonemic awareness and learn sound symbol correspondence. Phoneme cards can be used during instruction and as a reference for students as they're learning those articulatory features of each phoneme and developing the sound symbol correspondence that they need. And skill posters provide an anchor for students as they develop automaticity in decoding and encoding. Physical student materials include a consumable student transfer book that aligns with each lesson, and these are designed to be used in daily groups and centers. Activities in these student transfer books include word mapping, skill transfer, decodable texts and passages, and the teacher instructions for facilitating the activities in the student transfer books can be found in the groups and centers routines. Decodable books are 90 to 100% decodable and designed to help students apply and transfer skills to text. Individual sound spelling wall cards, which are portable, can be used as a reference for students as they are developing that phonemic awareness and sound symbol correspondence. This collection of reference and support materials means that you don't have any more late night searches on Google or teachers pay teachers to find resources for your next lesson or your small groups. Now, last but not least, at Reading Horizons, we pride ourselves on offering unparalleled customer support. We really show up as an invested partner by connecting you with a dedicated partnership consultant. Your partnership consultant will meet with you at the beginning of your implementation to collaborate and align on your district's literacy goals. They'll help you plan your implementation rollout and schedule professional learning to set you and your team up for success. And then throughout the year, your partnership consultant will meet with you to review data and evaluate the health of your implementation and provide you with customized support to help you achieve your goals. And based on those conversations throughout the year, the partnership consultant can help recommend focused professional learning to continue to empower your teachers and building leaders to build sustainability at your site. Now, we all know the importance of curriculum specific professional learning in the success of implementing a new program. And Reading Horizons offers a robust menu of professional learning options. We recommend every implementation begins with an initial synchronous one-day training session for all teachers and paraprofessionals who will use the program. This training is designed to be hands-on and ensure that you and your teachers have all the knowledge needed to get started. That initial day can be done on-site, virtually, or pay per seat. Over the course of the school year, it's recommended to continue professional learning through 6 one-hour synchronous sessions that can be customized based on your needs. And we also highly recommend on-site coaching sessions where our expert Reading Horizons coaches build teacher knowledge and practice while also supporting instructional coaches and administrators to build sustainability within each building. And finally, teachers can access embedded videos asynchronously to learn at their own pace as they progress through the curriculum. We recognize that it can take time to fully integrate a new curriculum and build that internal sustainability. And so we also continue to offer this professional learning through year 2 and beyond of your implementation, depending on your site's needs. All right, thank you so much for joining us for this informational webinar. We hope that you are ready to continue the conversation and see if Reading Horizons is a good fit for you. If you're here live, go ahead and take a minute to answer the poll question that's popping up on your screen. And if you're watching the recording and you want to get in touch with your Reading Horizons representative, just go ahead and email us at info@readinghorizons.com. Or you can visit the Reading Horizons Arkansas website, which is in the chat if you need access to it. Or if you just go to readinghorizons.com, everything's there too, and you can request an opportunity to meet with us. I don't see any questions in the Q&A box, but if anybody has questions, you're welcome to ask them now. Always happy to answer questions. All right, looks good. Okay, and if you have any questions following this, please just feel free to reach out to us. We are always happy to meet with you one-on-one and discuss your unique context. Thanks so much for being here today, everyone.